Welcome to a new episode of Ausfahrt.tv in English with me, your host, Mr. Z, with a strong German accent. I'm sorry. Today we're gonna present you the all-new Skoda Superb and the sedan version. We expect them to present the E-State version later this year at the IAA in Frankfurt. However, Skoda just announced that they have produced 750,000 Superbs so far. The history began actually in 1934, where they had already a car that they called a Superb, but the Superb of nowadays started in 2001 when it was presented. In 2008 they presented the second version, in 2009 the first E-State version, and this year 2015 in Prague, mid-February, they presented the new version, the third generation of the sedan, Skoda Superb Sedan. There are a bunch of competitors in this segment, for instance the Hyundai i40 or the Ford Mondeo/Fusion. However, there's another one, the Volkswagen Passat, who shares the same platform, but of course Skoda as well as Volkswagen, they try to avoid this comparison because they have different price segments. Skoda will offer the Superb with 7 different engines. So we have 3 diesel engines, 120, 150 and 190 horsepower. And 4 gasoline or petrol engines with 125, 150, 220 and later on with even 260 horsepower. They claim that all engines are 30% more efficient than the previous engines, and they all fulfill the EU6 norm. And now here's our test car engine. That it is a 2-liter TDI diesel engine, turbo diesel, and it has 150 horsepower. It's good for maximum torque of 340 Newton meters, and you get the maximum torque in a range between 1750 and 3000 RPM. By the way, it's always a front-wheel drive, except when you choose the all-wheel drive. Just some basic facts about this car, the Skoda Superb with the 150 horsepower 2-liter TDI. It accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour in 8.9 seconds. And the top speed is reached at 280 kilometers per hour or 135 miles per hour. The gas tank of the Skoda Superb is good for 66 liter or 75 gallons. Skoda claims a fuel consumption of 4.4 liters on 100 kilometers or 53.4 miles per gallon. Wow. Which means that under perfect conditions you can drive up to 1490 kilometers or 930 miles without getting gas. The Skoda Superb has a length of 4.86 meters or 191 inch, with a wheelbase of 2.84 meters or 112 inch. Its height is 1.47 meter or 58 inch, and it is 1.86 meters wide or 73 inch. As of the turn radius, you need at least 11.1 meter of free space, which equals 437 inch. The curb weight is 1,500 kilograms or 3,307 pounds. The admissible total weight is 2,045 kilograms, equals 4,508 pounds. The front of the new Skoda Superb is supposed to show self-confidence and strength. I'm sorry, I have a new partner here, the Toby. He's helping me with the camera, and not only you guys out there are like, hey, what is with your TH? He's starting with this now too, so it's strength. Well, I'm sorry, once again, the front is supposed to show self-confidence and strength. And they try to establish this with making the whole front wider. The grille is wider and it looks more three-dimensional. It's a little bit not so high, and the front lights, they're wider. And I was thinking, well, you know, how did they do this? You know, make everything wider. Well, it's easy. They just made the whole car wider. It's 4.7 centimeters wider than the previous model. Okay, that's easy. However, what I do like is one little detail. You know, they have this little nose now at the hood where the badge is placed, and right under the badge you find a little plastic thing, and there's a radar behind it. And you might see different car manufacturers, you know, putting the radar thing right here or in the center or wherever, and it kind of looks stupid, and I think that's a really sexy way to place it. At least in Germany, the Skoda Superb comes with 4 different option lines. So the most affordable one is called Active. The one above, Ambition. The one above, Style. And the most luxurious one is called Laurin&Klement. And that's the one we're driving right here. And it's named after the 2 founders of Skoda. The Skoda Superb, the new version, comes with L-shaped LED day running light. However, the main light, the main front light, is just big xenon. Well, just, you know. But you don't get full LED headlights. However, in our version and the Laurin&Klement option line, they're adaptive. And it's not that the full beams just turn off when you have traffic coming ahead of you or coming facing you, but it's like an LED light. They have segments, so they try to analyze where the car is that is facing you, and they turn off the light in this segment. And by the way, the fog lamps down here work as cornering light as well. Skoda is aiming for the Chinese market with the Superb, but as most car manufacturers offer a longer version of their current model, Skoda is saying this is enough because we put more than 8 centimeter, no, we put 8 centimeter more for the wheelbase, so there is more space in the car already and we don't need a long version. They want to show a very elegant dynamic car from the side, and they have this tornado line right here coming from the very front going up to the back with a little ups in the air at the end, and here we have another shadow line, and this should give the car dynamics from the side view. You get the car, at least in Germany, in 14 different colors, and this, by the way, my friends, is not black, it's called magnetic brown. And just before I forget it, they shorten the front car about 6.1 centimeters. You can choose between 16, 17, 18 and 19-inch alloys, and they even made 10 new alloy wheels for the car. And since we drive the Laurin&Klement, here you have the badge on the side edition, we have 18-inch alloy wheels called Pegasus. Just as in the front, Skoda wanted to make the back look as well, full of strength and self-confidence. So they used a lot of horizontal lines here all over the back to show this. I, however, think that a car without a real exhaust pipe looks kind of not really powerful. But, however, that's just my opinion. In the red part, Skoda is using LED technique indeed, but all the other lamps are normal light bulbs. Just as a side note, my personal opinion, I do think that the new Skoda Superb is a pretty sexy car, and I could even think about buying it, but this would be more mine. 19-inch alloys in black. I like this color, especially with a black roof because of the sunroof. And I even like the box on the top. I think in this way it looks even more sporty, more powerful, and that would be the one I would configure. And now I'd like to invite you to follow me inside in the interior. The doors are pretty big and they open in an angle of about 80 degrees. I don't know if you know, Skoda's claim is simply clever. So they try to think of pretty clever solutions that are very simple. And here we already have one in the door panel. We have a little compartment with an umbrella. So on both doors you have this compartments, and on both doors in the front you have even umbrellas. And I have a really big frame to enter the car. It's really easy, very comfortable. I have to lean out a little bit to grab the door, but oh, it's even a little bit heavy. Here I am. Okay, let me remove my shades first because it's not sunny inside the car, and I can close the blinds off the sunroof as well. So first impression when I got inside the car, it's very spacious indeed. It is spacious. I just sit here, I have space to the side, and I don't feel, you know, my head has enough headroom. My camera assistant, Toby, he is 5'6", so 195 centimeters tall, and he can sit here very comfortable. So do I with my 180 centimeters, 5'11". The materials are mixed up. I have soft touch on the front, on the dashboard, and on the side here at the door panel as well as here I have leather look-alike plastics. So first impression, oh, leather, cool. Second impression, oh, rubber, not so cool. However, black on top and this beige in the lower part does make the car look a little bit nicer, but I would never buy a car with so bright interior because I would be scared to just mess it up at the very first day. However, we have a centered middle, so it's facing the back passengers. Actually, I prefer systems that face the driver just a little bit, and everything else is just in place as you know it from Skoda or any other Volkswagen car. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. So we have safety belts, of course, and they're this long, so you have enough space to buckle up, and you can even adjust the height of the safety belt on your shoulder. We have leather seats. They have climate control, so you can heat them up or cool them down or do both at a time. And I was questioned every other video of cars that have this option. Why would I want seat heating and an air condition at the same time? Well, if you put on the heating full power, so here level 3, and put on the air conditioner on just level 1, then you have this hot air blown a little bit towards you, and I do like this. I think it's pretty neat. The seats are adjustable electrically in any way, and you can save your position in 3 different slots. And nope. And yeah, I think they're pretty comfortable even. The steering wheel is coated with a nice soft leather, and it's adjustable in a manual way. I think this is just okay. Could be more towards me, but I'm fine with that. It's a multifunction steering wheel, of course, so we have switches or buttons on the left side for the infotainment system and on the right side to control the board computer. Yeah. Oh, we have shifting pedals, by the way. I didn't really see them because they are black and plastic, just to mention it. But I don't think 150 diesel horsepower that you really need shifting pedals, but they are here when you need them. We have rear mirrors, and I think the shape is pretty sexy, and you see even enough. I already see this in Signe of the blind spot warner. Yeah, they're fine. The inner mirror, however, is not very high. It's pretty wide, but not very high. And so is the rear window, because it's so flat. And you see the whole window in the mirror. Still, I would prefer a little bit bigger rear mirror, I guess. If I turn my head around, the B-pillar is okay. It's not really small, but it's okay for turning my head. And on the other side, B-pillar, well, yeah, C-pillar is pretty huge because of the shape of the car, this cube-like shape. So I'm glad we do have a rear camera in here, so at least when you back up, you have this vision, and the rear camera works for charm, looks pretty good. We have 2 round gauges here, and I'm not really keen about how they did it. They put some beige from the color here in the round gauges and white numbers on it, and that might look nice on nighttime. I didn't drive it during nighttime so far, but during daytime I have really problems reading the numbers, even they're pretty huge. On the left side we have the RPM meter up to 6,000 RPM, and the red range starts at 5,000. Inside there's a little gauge for the temperature of the engine. On the right side we have the speedometer up to 260 kilometers per hour. This car runs 220 to 18 actually, so we have a little comfort zone there. Inside is a little gauge for the gas tank. In between the 2 gauges we have a display of the board computer. It's not really big, could be a little bit longer for instance. I think it's like, I don't know, 5/8 of an iPhone, I guess. But however, I can read it pretty well even during daytime. It's very sharp. I like the font they used there, and I can scroll through all the settings right here. So you can choose between the board computer itself or the infotainment system and so on. Telephone, vehicle, you know it, basic stuff, however. The infotainment system, I always hear people complaining about the display in Mercedes-Benz where it's like floating, freestanding, like, ooh, it looks cheap, it looks like someone rammed his iPad into the car, into the dashboard. Well, I don't have problems with it, and at least it's up here, where my eyes go. This way I have to go down. It might look better for you guys, but you get distracted more because you have to look down, you have to keep your eyes down there, and I don't think that's a good solution at all. The display, however, is sharp, it's nice, and it's the first car, oh yeah, that I can finally use Apple CarPlay in. It's really working. I'm so freaking out, but I will do this in a separate clip, actually just in German, so I'm sorry. We do have an ambient light in here that I can't show you because it's daytime. If I get the chance to drive by night tonight, I will film it, just put it on whatever I tell you right here, la la la. We have a sunroof, so the blind is, I have to use in a manual way, but I can open it up electrically. It's just a small one, so it doesn't cover the whole roof, and the back, the passengers in the back don't profit from the sunroof. However, you can open it, get some fresh air in, and I kind of like this. And yes, I will honk the horn as well here. That's a horn. Sorry, scusi. Yeah, and that's pretty much it from the inside. I'm going further on to the compartments. We can put 1.5 liter bottles in all 4 doors. That's excellent. So if you like to drink a lot, that's fine. This is just half a liter and it fits in here as well. Next to it we have still space for CDs. Well, who's using CDs nowadays, or purse or whatever. And in the very back, and you can hardly reach in, so Skoda decided, well, I don't want people to get lost in this compartment, so why don't we just keep this space here for the warning vests that are required in Europe now. Next to the steering wheel on the left we have another small compartment covered with text. No, it's coated, the floor is coated, or the bottom is coated with textile. And here behind or in front of the stick we have a compartment with a 12-volt outlet, a USB plug and an aux in, and I'm charging my iPhone right here with my goofy OtterBox protection. And here's another iPhone from Skoda, I guess. And yeah, CarPlay, guys, CarPlay. It's awesome. And it's coated, the floor or the bottom is coated with an anti-slip surface. And both phones, including the cable, fit in here, not with ease, but they fit in here. Behind this console part we find our cup holders, and we have actually 3 cup holders, and here again a simply clever solution. So the 2 cup holders on the outside just for ½ liter bottles, and I doubt that you can fit in anything else, while the center one is made that you just push in your bottle, and then you can unscrew it, well, you can open it. You can open it with ease without just with one hand. And that's pretty cool because they have some rubber things in here that fit in this PET European bottle system. So that's, I think it's pretty neat. You know, normally you put it between your legs or something, and this way you can just keep it here. Fine. And if you don't drink, you can just close this. Opening the armrest, well, first of all, you can adjust it in height, as you see. So that's it. Or you just open it, and here you can even cool it down. We have a regulation for the temperature right here, and there's a little leash that I can pull, and here I can really fit in a whole iPad, because the infotainment system is made in a way that you can use iPads in the rear. And once you don't want to leave this in the car like this, you just put it in here full size. Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. Oh. You can put it in here so thieves don't see it. It's actually pretty neat. Besides, the compartment is pretty big, but there's no plug for USB or 12-volt outlet. Then we have a gloves compartment, which is pretty big, I would say, and you have even space for more than just the material. You can cool this down as well. You have 2 SD card slots and a SIM slot, and you can even enter CDs here. You have a CD slot, and you can disable the airbag for the passenger side whenever you're transporting babies here. We have sunshades both sides with makeup mirrors both sides. They illuminated both sides, and next to it is a little clip for your ticket, and another Skoda solution, simply clever. Here's another clip where you can put tickets so officials see that you have whatever, the permission to park there. We have door handles on all 4 doors. We have a reading light for the passenger seat, and if I want to read as a driver, I have to push this button and both lights go on. And I can turn on and off the lights in the rear. Besides that, here's a switch for the sunroof. And I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you for your attention. I do hope there's even more space in the back than the previous models had. And I can already see I have lots of space in here. I can easily jump in the car without any problems, close the door, and here I am. So I'm in the back, and I already told you it looks spacious, and it is spacious indeed. I'm sitting here with my 180 centimeters, 5'11" tall. I'm sitting very comfortable. I have space, especially for my legs. And even if Toby would be driving now and he would scoot back his seat so he can sit comfortable with his 195 centimeters, 5'6", I would still have enough space for my legs. The seats, by the way, are a little bit formed out, so I don't scoot around too much in the curves. Curves. The only thing is the head space. If I put my head back on the backrest, I have like 2 hands between my head and the ceiling, and that's not very much. Cube-like shape, so I think that's just the way it is. However, Toby's sitting here as well, and he says he always sits kind of, you know, with his head forward, so his position is okay. But another colleague who has just his height said for him sitting in the back is a little bit uncomfortable because his head is touching the ceiling before he is touching the headrest. However, let's look around. We have a compartment in the door panel and it's good for 1.5 liters, I've already told you. And a space for some, you know, little consoles, candy, whatever, even iPhone, whatever. We have bags in the backrest, in the back of the backrest of the front seats. And this bottle, half a liter, fits in there pretty well. In the center, we can control, for our car at least, the seat heating for the two outer seats, as well as we have air outlets here that we can cool down and heat up, so we have an own climate control in the back. And down a little bit deeper, we have a little flap that can open, and under the flap is a USB plug that works with the infotainment system as well, 12-volt outlet, and a 230-volt outlet, good for 150 watts. That's cool. That's really what I want from a car. I have all the different power outlets, so my kids can, you know, charge their iPhone with a USB cable, have something else, maybe a cooler with a 12-volt outlet, and can even, you know, load the Nintendo or whatever over 230 volts. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. However, the second USB plug is good to not only power this iPad we have here on the backrest, on the back of the passenger seat, but with certain apps you can even control the front infotainment system. And I think that's pretty cool, thinking really about having a chauffeur car. So here I can control the infotainment system, I can look for a route and send it to the front, and well, I can use the iPod for watching clips or whatever. And just be aware, you have to say, okay, in the front that the rear iPad takes control over. So your kids can't just do something if you don't want this. But I think it's a good thing. Besides, this is just like the holder for the passenger seat backrest. And here we have the armrest, pretty neat, pretty big as well. And with the armrest, we have two cup holders here for half a liter bottle. You can put a pen here, and we have this little hole, and I can remove the iPad holder right here and place it, stick it in this hole, and now I can easily work or just you know, use it while I'm driving or while I'm being driven. And even for the kids, I think it's nice because they can both play from both sides if you have games that support it. Okay, back to the seat again. If you want to, you can unlock this and you can load through longer stuff from the trunk. Buckling up your kids, you have Isofix holders. The locks for the safety belts are pretty stable, so kids can buckle up themselves with ease. The belts are pretty long, so at least long enough to buckle up child seats or baby things. And we have reading lights for the both sides on the for the both outer seats. Well, talking about it, I'm just scooting over here. Well, scooting in the middle is no fun because I sit a little bit higher, much harder, as well on my I'm gonna say ass, but I really don't know the real word, on my back. Whatever, you know, on my ass and even on my back, it's hard. I sit higher and I'm sitting most likely on the locks of the doorbells. So if we sit here with three grown-ups, they have to like touch my ass to buckle up. Not very comfortable. So let's rather say it's good for grown-ups. In front of the windows, and the windows are colored anyway, we have a privacy sheet, manual privacy sheets that I can hang in here. So I have a little bit of sun protection as well as a little bit more privacy. Ugh. And I have, of course, powered windows that I can roll down completely. But now that I sit here, I really feel that the doors are very high, so the space of the windows is a little bit tightened. Anyway, that's pretty easy and neat. And I will fold them up again. and you're protected, or at least your kids are. And I think that's pretty much from the back. There are 3 ways to open the trunk. First of all, I can use my key and the button right here. Then I have a button inside next to the stick of the automatic transmission, and I have a button right here. Besides, as an option, I have an well, there is an option, I'm sorry, that you swipe with your foot under the bumper and it opens at least when you have the key in your pocket. But we don't have this option, so please open. And you already see this massive door actually, and under this massive door is a massive trunk. We have place for 625 liters of luggage, which equals 33 cubic feet. And boy, I can't remember that we had a car yet where my tripod case fits in this way. So we have 1 meter of space in the deep, and my trolley, which sometimes even fills the trunk of a smaller car, is just lost in this massive trunk. Let's have a look in the trunk. First of all, secret trapdoor, but there is just a spare tire under there, so no extra space actually, just the spare tire. The warning triangle is on the back of the side, which I don't like too much, because once you have all your stuff loaded in the trunk, you can't really reach it. Same to the emergency kit, which is here in the side. But next to the emergency kit, which is really small, you still have lots of space to store other stuff in here, which I like again. On the other side, we have another compartment. Actually, that's just for the fuses. But on the rear of this little door, we find 2 plastic things. And we can use them to form angles and store some suitcases in here so they don't scoot around, which I think is a pretty neat idea. And especially if you don't use the things, they go back in the door and they're away. Over the door we have some hooks for shopping bags so they don't scoot around. We have a light in the trunk. Actually, we have 3 lights, 2 in the back, 1 in the front, and the one in the front is removable. And once I put it on, it even has LED spots in here. And watch, it's magnetic. So if you have some troubles with the car, you can help yourself with this little lamp, and you always have it with you. Besides, we have even more hooks up and down here everywhere, and even a 12-volt outlet on the right side. And one thing, the privacy protection, you can lift up and just slide. Really, well, this worked easier earlier, and just slide it back here. And once you flip the door back, you can it folds down there, so it's not in the way if you have more luggage that you don't want to that builds higher up. I just measured everything for you. So you have 120 centimeters in deep and wide of 100 centimeters. And here is the hook or the switch or the whatever to flip the back seats. And you can flip them 40-60. Once I have flipped the back seats, I have space until the roof for 1,760 liters. And I don't have a plain ground here, but at least until the end of the backrest of the second seat row, I have 177 centimeters. And to the passenger seat, which is now in Toby's position, and Toby isn't small with his 5'6" or 195 centimeters, I have even 2 meters. Once I bend the backrest of the passenger seat to the very, very, very back, I can load goods up to a length of 3 meters and 10 centimeters, and that's wow, amazing. You can store up to 620 kilograms or 1,367 pounds in the Skoda Superb in the new version, of which 100 kilograms you can load on the roof. And as an option, which our test car poorly doesn't have, you can install a hook for trailers, and you can pull trailers up to 2 tons. Well, summing up my driving experience with the Skoda Superb 2-liter TDI with 150 horsepower and front-wheel drive. The car runs really nice and tender. We have an adaptive suspension here, so you can choose between comfort and other modes. And while driving in comfort, it's really a pleasure. We have not too good small tiny roads here in Italy where we're driving on, and you see a lot of potholes and just places where they try to fix the road. And so when I put the car in sport mode, I'm not having too much fun sitting here in the car because I'm, shaking around the whole time. While when I put it in comfort, however, it takes a lot of the potholes just away. I don't feel them, not at all. That's pretty neat. Besides that, we have an individual mode where we can see what we can adjust or what is affected by changing the modes. The brakes work fine, so does the steering. We have a progressive steering here, of course, so in the city, driving slow, you don't need much power to turn your wheels. No, spin the wheels? No, everything's wrong. Well, to, park or maneuver your car in tiny roads. While when you're on the highway driving higher speeds, the steering is pretty stiff. The 150 diesel horsepower are just fine. I mean, we know this engine from other products from the Volkswagen company, so it's a good runner. I can't tell you too much about fuel consumption because I didn't check yesterday, and today we didn't drive so much, and in between they resetted the settings here off the board computer. What else is missing? Sound. Well, it's a silent diesel actually. You hardly hear it, and on the other hand, you don't have any sporty sound. That's pretty much it. We do have quite a few assist systems in the car. So we have a parking assist that parks for you, for instance. We have a lane keeping assist, an active one, so whenever the car scans the road or the camera scans the lanes on the road, it tries to keep you in the lanes, and it does it active, so it's steering itself a little bit. If you don't, but you have to put your hands on the steering wheel, otherwise you get a warning in between a few seconds. Wow, sunny. Besides that, blind spot warner, of course. It's the radar's looking what's going on 20 meters up to 20 meters behind you. So it's a rear traffic assist. It's like when you're parking somewhere and you drive with the front in the parking spot, and then you back up to leave the parking spot. It looks 20 meters around the back of your car if traffic is coming up, and warns you in the first stage and stops the car if a collision is supposed to be coming up. And we have an adaptive cruise control, of course. We have a traffic sign recognition here, which worked fine in Italy as well. By the way, something completely new, Skoda is offering now a traffic jam assist. So once you're encountering a traffic jam and you're not driving faster than 60 kilometers per hour, the traffic jam assist takes over and does all the stop and go traffic for you. It steers automatically, and it starts and stops automatically. But you have to keep your hands on the steering wheel. Overall, I can sum up already about my driving experience as a fine runner. You don't need much more, but if you get more horsepower, you probably have a little bit more of driving fun. Alright, I should get paid by Skoda for the following sum up. I love this car, and I would consider even buying it, honestly. If I would need a new car, this would be the one. I'm really surprised about all the space I have. Front row, back row, and especially in the trunk. And I need a lot of space because I have all this equipment. This 150 horsepower diesel. Well, you know, it's okay. I don't mind. It runs, you know. You can go 220 on the Autobahn, so that's fine. But the time where you can really drive fast is pretty much over, even in Germany now. I might consider the all-wheel drive version, but I haven't driven it, so I can't really tell you anything. Everything else is just fine. You have all the stuff that you need for a really, really reasonable price. Here in Germany, I would pay for this car probably with all the options 45,000 euros. And that's really a benchmark now. I mean, that's cool. It's not a premium car. Don't get me wrong. The material is not premium. You feel it every now and then. But everything else, it just feels right. I'm not premium either, you know. So this car suits me well, and I would really consider buying it. Yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. I'm waving goodbye, but before I really do this, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to answer you if I can. If you haven't done so, subscribe. I am very happy if I see people sharing our videos on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. And besides that, did I say thumbs up? I don't know. Well, I'm always happy if you guys give me a thumb up, because that motivates me to keep on. And yes, you've come to the end, and if your ears are not bleeding yet, you finally made it without getting harmed. I'm saying goodbye. I'm your host, Mr. Z. See you then.